Gee.
Hi, and welcome to the Jesu Otaku anime review. I have recently transferred my soul into a new body made of silicone and circuits to better serve you and give more accurate reviews in the near future. And hey, leave that alone! Stop it! I'm sorry, I'm still in beta. Hideki is a bright young lad from the Hokkaido countryside ready to begin his first year of university. Too bad he didn't get into any of them.
I got rejected! I failed! I'm gonna be a bum for a year! That's it! I'm going to prep school! I'll study hard and make sure that I get into college next year! That's right. If I'm going to go, I'll go to Tokyo. Well, the college I want to go to is in Tokyo, right? Right? All right! I'm gonna go to Tokyo!
So much for bright, I guess. So he sets out for Tokyo, hopefully not really on cowback, to cram into prep school. And the first thing he notices is the newest high-tech craze taking off in the big city, persicoms.
It will take approximately 45 minutes to arrive at your destination. You will then need to switch trains at Ikebukuro.
It's a real persicom. Wow, this is the first time I've seen one in real life.
They're humanoid computers that can be programmed to your specific preferences and look awfully sexy doing it. If you have the cash for one. Poor Hideki gets the cheapest apartment he can find. It doesn't hurt that the landlady is pretty, of course. Gets a job at a little restaurant. Doesn't hurt that the manager's daughter is cute, of course.
I'm a D cup.
What? Hey now, just a cotton-picking minute here.
Well, you were staring at them.
Well, it's not like I was thinking about...
Not at all? Not even a little?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at all. I wasn't thinking about that, but it really wasn't like that kind of that. It's just, well, they're such, well, of course I'm so confused.
Starts attending his classes. It doesn't hurt that the teacher is hot, of course, and even makes friends with his housemate Shimbo, who is continually shocked at how ignorant Hideki is of the world outside the farm.
It's got ports for an RGB cable, so at least we can make the connection there. Now, in just a second here, we should be able to see the default specs for the system, as well as the CPU speed and what version the OS is.
I see. I don't have a clue what he's talking about.
Things are going pretty okay for him until...
Ah! Oh my god, it's a dead body!
It's actually not a dead body, but a persicom. In the garbage, sure, but free of charge, and Hideki can't resist. Too bad he knows nothing about computers and can't get it to boot up.
I can't find that darn switch! I've already tried pushing every place I can think of. I pushed here, and there, and this, and even these. Even those. I've pushed every inch of this computer I can find! Everywhere! Except... it can't be.
This persicom is indeed one of a kind, and Hideki names her Chi after...
Cheese?
What? Huh?
Cheese?
well, the only sound she can initially make. Whoever first owned her has wiped her slate clean. She doesn't know how to do anything herself, and Hideki learns that owning a persicom isn't all fun and games, as she costs him money, attention, and time. The only reason he figures she's worth it is...
Look how cute she is! I can't believe it! She's so incredibly cute and she can do everything! Oh, this is gonna be great! Games. And internet porn!
Because he really needs a computer. Yeah, we'll go with that. He may not realize what he's gotten his hands on, however, as his friend and computer guru Minoru warns him that Chi may be one of the legendary Chobits, computers created by a government team for some unknown purpose. But Hideki isn't sure how to deal with that idea. He has enough trouble just,
I guess we should get you some underwear.
dealing with all the complicated specs. Yeah, we'll go with that. And as Chi learns more about the world and herself, developing a personality and, surprisingly, even emotions, Hideki must come to terms with how he really feels about his newest household appliance. On the technical side of things, this is a pretty modest effort from Studio Madhouse. I mean, even if you don't know much about their repertoire, just look at the name. Madhouse isn't usually this soft and reserved. Obviously, this is a slice of life anime, so there's not a lot of animation in general, but neither is it a series of talking heads like Fruits Basket and some other cheaper shows. It's just very well produced, and unlike a lot of Clamp anime, translates their odd art style very well into color and motion. No complaints here. This is a good looking show, and the art style is quite unique. Speaking of soft and reserved, the music in Chobits is exactly that. Breezy Japanese pop voices singing oohs and ahs with happy piano and synth bouncing along behind them. This is a soundtrack that I can compare to Fruits Basket and myriad other slice of life. But then it gets serious at points and the score gets intense. Dark violins and backswells of bass noise are not what I usually associate with slice of life, but they're used to great effect here. This is definitely a recommendable soundtrack all on its own, and the myriad pop themes are also sweet and memorable, match the story perfectly. The voice acting is quite solid in the Japanese, pretty standard stuff. Rie Tanaka as Chi, however, is particularly good, having to balance out a role that's part cold and robotic, part gentle and innocent, and part something very dark and broken, and she's only ever given a couple words to speak at a time to get it across, so kudos to her. For the dub, there are a lot of conventional choices. Mona Marshall is a child genius, Bridget Hoffman is a fragile flower, this is really creepy, and then there's about the weirdest casting choice ever.
Me?
It's too late for that. I saw it all.
All?
It was average size.
No!
Average size. Hideki is average.
Gee, you don't have to learn that!
Crispin Freeman is the spineless lead. Badass, baritone, wine-sipping voiced Crispin Freeman is the squealing idiot in this show, and it's great. Hideki is not exactly the stereotypical harem protagonist, exactly, so it only follows that he be given a slightly unconventional voice, and Freeman helped me to love this character. He's not shrill and annoying about everything just because it's a frantic role. He plays Hideki as a desperate, sheltered guy in a world of computers and women, both of which he doesn't understand. It's relatable and it's charming. Do you still want to smack him in the face sometimes? Definitely, but it seems like an actual human being, which is already miles above the Love Hinas and Tenchi Muyos out there. I should point out that the dub overall is not one of the better ones out there. The scripting can be awkward sometimes, and Michelle Ruff as Chi is not one of my favorite things to listen to ever. Won't go into it in detail, but she's very flatly robotic when there should be more humanity there, and it's a slight problem of flatness all over the dub, really. The Japanese is slightly better scripted and acted, but I don't want to disparage the majority of things the dub gets right, so really go with whichever preference you normally do. So hey guys, there's this genre in anime called Magical Girlfriend. No, not Magical Girl, that's something else. Magical Girlfriend is its own subgenre circulating around a bumbling, brainless wuss who magically gets the perfect woman. An actual concept in Japan known as Yamato Nadeshiko. She brightens up his dull and dreary life, cooks for him, cleans house, and looks adorable doing it. It panders to the dumbest and lowest echelon of anime fandom, objectifies women to a stunning degree, and along with its twin sister harem anime is probably the lowest form of anime storytelling outside of pornography. Yes, much lower than moe. I just don't pick on it as much as I have moe because its heyday is kind of past. Make no mistake, that's exactly what Chobits is, by the way. A magical girlfriend story. The first 2/3 of this series revolve around Hideki studying for exams, using Chi to play online games, learning how to bathe her, teaching her to buy her own
Underpants.
clothing, etc.
Underpants, thank you, please. What are you doing?
By all rights, this should be complete garbage. That in mind, here are all the reasons why, I can't believe I'm saying this, Chobits just works really well. It has everything to do with the two lead characters, the two components of the whole magical girlfriend genre. As I mentioned before, Hideki isn't a completely useless man-child, mostly. He's not smart or skilled in anything except maybe farm work, no, but he's significantly more grounded in reality than many of his ilk. I could give examples, but it really only boils down to this. I know guys like Hideki, but I don't know guys like Keitaru or Tenshi. Add to that, and I can't go into why for fear of spoilers, but his stupidity or unusual qualities are actually used to great effect in the story. There's a reason he's as big of a loser as he is.
Mommy, I'm scared.
Just don't look him in the eye, dear.
In that sense, explaining a cliche and making it very intentional feels sort of subversive to me, so I can appreciate it. Less subtle is the treatment of Chi, who is...
Hideki.
That's right, Chi!
Hideki.
Oh, right!
Hideki.
That's right!
Hideki.
Oh, really?
Hideki. 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 Hideki.
not the perfect woman.
Hideki.
Hideki has to teach her how to do everything, and while I can understand how this would be fetishy, it betrays expectations of how Chi is going to make Hideki's life easier, even his own expectations.
I've heard of something like this happening before. A beautiful girl barges into your life out of nowhere, who happens to have special powers and can do almost anything. Suddenly, she falls in love with the guy she lives with, and she'll do all sorts of things for him. Cooking, cleaning, even those kind of things.
Tea?
Thank you. I am so lucky.
She's nothing but trouble for him, completely infantile in mind, but unlike many anime where these clueless, helpless traits are present because,
People call those Moet points.
Huh? Moe points?
Clumsy is sexy.
in Chobits, it honestly makes sense. Chi isn't human, she's a computer, and one that supposedly has been reformatted and carries no recognizable operating system. In fact, the firewall around her inner workings is so thick that tinkering with her is extremely dangerous. That she functions at all, and why she functions, is the mystery of the plot, much less how fast she learns and adopts human behavior. Which adds one more welcome layer to this story's frame. The last third of Chobits is pretty good science fiction. Unlike other magical girlfriend stories, where the hero is given a goddess that becomes human, an alien that becomes human, a spirit that becomes human, etc., Hideki gets, well, a computer that was just made to appear human, and that's the entire problem when it comes to falling in love with it.
I'll be going now.
Hideki.
To call it a robot is even a stretch, as Persicoms are not artificial intelligence life forms unless a program was written to make them that way. They're input-output devices, and after all the slice-of-life hijinks in the first two-thirds are over, Chobits knuckles down and starts to seriously discuss man's relationship with technology and where it's going. It's not Blade Runner, no, and it still keeps things to a more fantastical keel than hardcore sci-fi, but it addresses the same issues with shocking poignancy. Clamp took a fan service show, the lowest common denominator in anime, and at least tried to turn it into a thoughtful forum on topics ranging from technological addiction, the degradation of close relationships, the objectification of women in society, and even what really makes us human. In the final third. In the first two-thirds, it's mostly this.
Underpants. Underpants. Underpants.
But even then, it's at least well-made entertainment, thanks to a lovable cast of characters and a little more TLC than this genre of anime ever deserved to get. It's not a serious science fiction classic, not even close, but boy is this little romance tale a welcome surprise. Chobits is available from Funimation, originally released by Geneon, but yeah, you know the drill, Geneon crashed bad a while ago. There were also recap episodes and a short extra feature that's mostly naughty humor and hijinks released with the old DVD set, and I don't know if that was re-released, but if not, you ain't missing much. The original manga by artist team Clamp is available from Dark Horse Comics, and if you're thinking this sounds way more like something Tokyo Pop would put out, well, they did. But they apparently lost the rights as of last year, and Dark Horse re-released the story in 20th anniversary omnibuses. Okay, now the similarities are just creepy. Does everything Clamp make connect in some weird way? Speaking of which, I'm not sure if this counts, but as an apology for not mentioning Tsubasa Chronicles in my now ancient review of Holic, I will add that Angelic Layer, another Clamp series, takes place in the Chobits universe, but several years before, which is a pretty interesting tidbit, and you can make of that what you will. All in all, Chobits is a fairly gentle, silly little comedy that evolves into something greater. Does it dive very deep into themes of man's relationship with technology? No. Does it go even as deep as it could have? No. But does it make enough of an effort to be praiseworthy? Definitely. Even before it gets to any dark ruminations, it's a well-written, well-produced magical girlfriend show, and if you like that kind of thing, you're going to enjoy Chobits. By that same token, if you can't stand this kind of anime comedy, be warned, it's all silly and stupid for a good long while before it starts getting twisted. If you're willing to give it a chance though, there's a lot here to appreciate, even if it's not quite as much as the average sci-fi fan.